Welcome to episode 3 of the series. In our previous episode, we discovered that Moses was first shown a pattern. Before there was construction, there was revelation. Before there was a tabernacle, there was a blueprint. Today, we finally step inside Exodus 26. And the very first thing scripture describes isn't the ark. It isn't the lampstand. It isn't the altar. It is curtains. Why? If God wanted to reveal his dwelling place, why begin with fabric? Let's observe carefully. Exodus 26 verse 1 says, "Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue, and purple, and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them." At first glance, this sounds like interior decoration, fabric, colors, embroidery. But throughout scripture, God rarely introduces symbols without purpose. Every detail invites investigation. Why curtains? Think about a curtain. A curtain has a fascinating purpose. It does not create a house. It reveals and conceals. It separates one space from another. It creates different environments within the same structure. Perhaps the first lesson is this: not everything within us is immediately visible. Human beings also have layers. We all have an outer presentation and an inner life. People see our worlds, but they cannot always see our motives. They see our actions, but not always our thoughts. They see the smile, not always the sorrow. The curtain reminds us that there is always more beneath the surface. The human sanctuary. If Paul says our body is the temple, then perhaps these curtains are not describing walls of fabric. Perhaps they describe the inner architecture of awareness. The soul is not flat. Human experience has depth. There are things we know consciously, things we suppress, things we are still discovering, and truth waiting to be unveiled. The tabernacle begins with layers, because human beings experience life through layers. Transformation is often the gradual unveiling of those layers. The first material mentioned is fine linen. Throughout scripture, clean linen repeatedly symbolizes righteousness, purity, and faithful living. Notice something important. The tabernacle does not begin with gold. It begins with linen. Why? Because character comes before glory. Before outward beauty, there must be inward integrity. Truth has something to rest upon. This mirrors the teachings of Jesus. He repeatedly addressed the condition of the heart before outward appearance. Let's look at the first color. The first color mentioned is blue. Throughout scripture, blue is consistently associated with heaven, not merely as a location, but as that which lifts our awareness toward God. Think about Numbers 15. Israel is instructed to place a blue cord on their garments. Why? So that whenever they looked upon it, they would remember. Blue became a visual reminder to remain aligned with God's ways. The blue in the tabernacle reminds us that the human sanctuary was created to remain consciously connected to the source. Next color, purple. Purple has long been associated with royalty. But what kind of royalty? Not domination, responsibility. Peter calls believers a royal priesthood. Royalty in scripture often points to mature stewardship, the ability to govern oneself before attempting to govern anything else. The true king first rules the kingdom within. Next is scarlet. Scarlet immediately reminds many people of sacrifice. But what is sacrifice ultimately for? Throughout scripture, sacrifice is connected with life, covenant, and transformation. Scarlet reminds us that growth always involves surrender. Something old gives way so that something new may emerge. The path toward maturity always asks us to release what no longer reflects truth. Let's look at the three colors together. Now step back. Blue, purple, and scarlet. They are not isolated colors. Together, they form a pattern. Heavenly awareness, mature stewardship, and transforming love. The sanctuary is woven from all three. A life reflecting the source is not built on only one quality. It is woven together. Just as fabric gains strength by interweaving many threads, human character becomes strong through the integration of truth, wisdom, compassion, humility, and love. Next is the cherubim. Then something unexpected appears. The cherubim. Most people imagine winged beings. But throughout scripture, cherubim consistently appear wherever sacred space is being guarded. After Eden, cherubim guard the tree of life. Upon the ark, cherubim overshadow the mercy seat. Here, they are woven into the curtains themselves. Perhaps they symbolize discernment, not allowing everything to enter the inner sanctuary. Just as we protect our homes, we are called to guard our inner life. Not every idea deserves residence. Not every voice deserves authority. Discernment becomes a guardian of the sanctuary. Notice one final detail. Nothing is added afterward. Everything is woven together from the beginning. Character cannot simply be painted onto the surface. It must become part of who we are. Truth is not decoration. It is woven into our lives through daily choices, habits, and relationships. Think about your own life. What have you allowed into your inner sanctuary? What thoughts have become woven into your identity? What beliefs quietly shape the way you see yourself? Every day, we are weaving something. Fear or trust, bitterness or forgiveness, pride or humility. The question is not whether we are weaving. The question is, what are we weaving? As we close the episode, we see that Exodus does not begin the tabernacle with gold. It begins with fabric. Because before the sanctuary could contain the presence, it first needed to be woven. The same is true of us. Long before our lives reflect divine light outwardly, something beautiful is quietly being woven within. Next time, we'll continue deeper into Exodus 26 as we explore why there were 10 curtains joined together as one. Were they simply pieces of fabric? Or do they reveal another pattern about unity, wholeness, and the formation of the living sanctuary? Until then, enjoy the rest of your day.